The first time the warning came, it came at night. The village was quiet. Dogs were asleep. Fires were dying. She was walking alone, as she often did, because no one waited for her anywhere. Then an old woman stepped out from the shadow of a mango tree. Her back was bent. Her eyes were clear. Her voice was calm, not loud, not weak. The old woman called her name as if she had known it forever. She held out a simple object. It was a black scarf. Old, plain, soft from use. Nothing special. The kind of scarf no one would steal. The kind no one would praise. The old woman placed it into her hands slowly, like placing a child on the ground. Then she spoke one sentence. Only one. "Never meet them without it." She said it once, then again. Never meet them without it. Her voice did not shake. Her face did not smile. Never meet them without it. The woman asked who them were, but the old woman did not answer. She only repeated the same sentence. Never meet them without it. She touched the scarf. She pressed it to the woman's chest. The scarf felt warm, like it had been worn moments before. The old woman leaned closer. Her breath smelled like dust and rain. Never meet them without it. She said it one last time. The woman looked around. The road was empty. The houses were dark. When she turned back, the old woman was already stepping away. One step, then two. Her body became thinner. Her feet made no sound. Her shape blurred like smoke. The scarf stayed heavy in her hands. The night returned to silence. The old woman was gone. She was known in the village, but not loved. People knew her face, her walk, her silence. They knew where she lived, at the edge of the houses, where the path turned into bush. When gatherings happened, no one called her name. When women sat together, they left space when she approached. When men laughed, their laughter stopped when she passed. Not out of respect, out of discomfort. She was not ugly. She was not loud. She was simply unwanted. Matchmakers skipped her name. Mothers warned their sons not to waste time. "She brings nothing," they said. "She has no light." Weddings came and went. Babies were born. Seasons changed. She stayed the same, alone, watching, waiting. At night, she wrapped the black scarf around her shoulders. She remembered the old woman's voice, calm, certain. Never meet them without it. She repeated it to herself, not fully understanding, but afraid to forget. Never meet them without it. The scarf became part of her body. She slept with it near. She walked with it folded under her arm. Her heart wanted only one thing, not money, not praise, not fear. She wanted true love, someone who would choose her first, someone who would not hide her, someone who would sit beside her in the open and say her name without shame. That was all. That was everything. But every week, strangers passed through the village. Traders, travelers, men who did not know her story. Men who looked at her longer than others did. Men who smiled in ways that felt like hope. The village noticed. Whispers began. Eyes followed her steps. Still, no one offered her a hand in daylight. She told herself to be patient. She told herself to obey. She touched the scarf and whispered the sentence again. Never meet them without it. Even as loneliness pressed harder, even as her chest ached, she held on to those words, because they were the only words anyone had ever given her that felt like care. The secret did not reveal itself in words. It revealed itself in change. Small changes at first, easy to miss. The first stranger she met while wearing the black scarf was a tired trader. He complained of bad luck. His goods did not sell. His donkey was thin. He spoke to her only because she listened. She said little. She wore the scarf. She remembered the sentence. Never meet them without it. Under the next morning, the trader's donkey was strong. His goods sold fast. People crowded him. By sunset, he laughed loudly in the market. He did not look for her again. He left the village smiling. Then another man came, a traveler with empty hands. He sat beside her. He talked of hunger and missed chances. She listened again. She wore the scarf again. Never meet them without it. 2 days later, the man found work. A house welcomed him. Coins filled his pocket. He waved at her from far away. He did not come close. It became a pattern, clear, simple. Anyone who met her while she wore the black scarf gained something: work, money, strength, favor. Paths opened for them, doors unlocked, smiles followed them. But nothing changed for her. Her house stayed quiet. Her bowl stayed light. Her nights stayed long. The village began to notice. Men who spoke with her rose quickly. Men who laughed with her left richer. Women counted days. They whispered numbers. After her, things improve, they said. They did not thank her. They did not sit with her. They only watched. She did not celebrate. She did not feel proud. Each gain that passed through her felt like water through open hands. She remained the same, waiting, hoping, holding the scarf tighter each time, repeating the rule like a prayer she did not understand. Never meet them without it. Because even if she gained nothing, she was afraid of what would happen if she did not obey. The first man did not hesitate. He saw her. He approached her openly. He did not whisper. He did not hide. He said her name in front of others. The village noticed. Heads turned. He said he admired her calm. He said he admired her eyes. He promised love quickly, like someone afraid of losing time. She wore the black scarf. She remembered the sentence. Never meet them without it. Within days, his life changed. His small farm doubled. His harvest surprised everyone. Elders praised his luck. He walked taller. He laughed louder. People gathered around him. They asked questions. They clapped his back. They pointed at her and nodded. Since her, they said. She waited for him at sunset. She waited for him at dawn. She believed. For the first time, someone chose her without shame. Or so she thought. Then the betrayal came. Not in private, in the open, at the market. He stood beside another woman. He announced his marriage loudly. He did not look at her. When someone asked about her, he shrugged. She was nothing, he said. Laughter followed. The scarf rested on her shoulders, heavy, silent. The rule echoed in her ears. Never meet them without it. He walked away with gifts and praise. He did not stumble. He did not look back. The village watched her stand alone. Some shook their heads. Some smiled. The first man left full. She stayed empty. The second man came faster than the first. He did not pretend to be shy. He spoke boldly. He touched her hand in public. He told people she was special. The village murmured. Some warned him. He laughed. She wore the black scarf. She repeated the sentence. Never meet them without it. His rise was quicker. Too quick. Money found him. Opportunities chased him. He moved from a borrowed room to a large house in days. He dressed better. He spoke louder. He began to act as if he had always been important. People gathered around him like flies to sweetness. Then the humiliation came. Clear, harsh. During a feast, he stood and told a story. He spoke of a foolish woman who thought attention was love. He pointed at her as people laughed. He said he had only used her time. He said she was easy. The crowd reacted. Some gasped. Some laughed harder. No one defended her. He left the feast with applause. He left the village soon after, richer than he arrived. The black scarf stayed on her shoulders. The rule stayed unbroken. Never meet them without it. She went home alone. Her name became a joke. Children repeated his words. The second man was gone. Her shame stayed. By the time the third man came, the village was watching closely. Nothing happened around her without eyes following. When he greeted her, whispers started immediately. When he sat near her, women nudged each other. When he smiled, men folded their arms. Everyone wanted to see what would happen next. The third man was careful. He moved slowly. He spoke softly. He said he knew her story. He said he was different. He said he did not care about rumors. She wanted to believe him. Her heart was tired. Her hope was thin. Still, she wore the black scarf. She held it close. She repeated the sentence inside her chest. Never meet them without it. His change came quietly, then loudly. A relative returned from far away with gifts for him. A dispute in his family resolved itself overnight. Land that was once contested became his. People noticed. The whispers grew stronger. "It is happening again," they said. After her, good follows. But this time, the village did not wait for betrayal. They mocked her before it came. They laughed when she passed. They called her names. They said she met strangers in secret. They said she traded shame for hope. The third man heard everything. He stayed silent. Then one morning, he left. No goodbye, no explanation. Just gone. Later, news came. He had been chosen for a respected position in another town. Celebration followed his name. No one mentioned hers. She stood alone as laughter followed her shadow. The scar felt heavier than before. The rule echoed again. Never meet them without it. But for the first time, she wondered how much longer she could endure. After the third man, things changed. Men no longer came pretending to love. They came with clear eyes and empty promises. They came at night. They came quietly. They came because they wanted something for themselves. The village already believed the story. They believed she was a place people passed through to gain more in life. She was tired. Too tired to argue. Too tired to hope. When men came, she did not ask questions anymore. She did not ask for love. She did not ask for names. She only wrapped the black scarf around her shoulders. She repeated the sentence softly, like breathing. Never meet them without it. The gains became faster. Men left smiling after one meeting. One gained promotion. Another found hidden money. Another escaped punishment for a crime everyone knew he committed. They walked freely through the village, proud and loud. People pointed. People counted. Another one, they said. He met her. Her shame became public. Women spat near her path. Men laughed openly. Children followed her, singing cruel songs. No one hid their disgust anymore. Even elders spoke badly of her in meetings. She accepted it all in silence. Exhaustion had taken the place of anger. Inside her house, she sat alone, holding the scarf. It smelled of sweat and dust and nights that never ended. She asked herself if this was all she was meant to be. A door for others. A shadow for the village to mock. Still, fear held her steady. Fear of breaking the rule. Fear of what waited on the other side. So she obeyed. Again. Always. Never meet them without it. And the village watched her sink lower with every passing week. The change came without warning. One morning she woke up and the air felt different. Lighter. Sharper. When she wrapped the black scarf around her shoulders, it no longer felt soft. It felt firm. Powerful. When she stepped outside, people stopped. Conversations broke. Eyes widened. Her skin looked brighter. Her back stood straighter. Her voice carried farther, even when she spoke softly. Men who once laughed now lowered their heads. Women who once spat now stepped aside. The village felt it at once. Something had shifted. The black scarf had changed everything. Where she walked, people made space. When she spoke, silence followed. Traders offered her gifts without asking. Elders invited her to sit among them. Her house filled with food, her hands filled with coins. Respect came fast, too fast. The same speed at which others once rose after meeting her now surrounded her. Men returned, but not like before. They came bowing. They came afraid. They called her powerful. They called her blessed. They called her dangerous. The village whispered a new name for her, not rejected, not shameful. They called her a force. She did not smile. She did not celebrate. She only touched the scarf. It now felt alive, warm, heavy with meaning. The sentence repeated itself clearly, louder than ever. Never meet them without it. The rule had not changed. Only the world around her had. But power has a sound, and the sound of her power spread beyond the village. Travelers carried stories. Nearby towns sent people to see her. Some out of fear, some out of greed. The respect she received did not feel like love. It felt like distance, like people standing back from fire. For the first time, she was no longer invisible. But as the village watched her transformation in silence, something dark began to follow her steps. Because power given by a rule always waits for a price. The day the rule was tested, the sky was clear. Too clear. The kind of day that feels wrong. A man arrived from far away. He did not bow. He did not fear her. He laughed when people warned him. He said rules were made to be broken. He said scarves were just cloth. He met her without waiting for night. He spoke boldly. He reached for her shoulders. In that moment, the black scarf slipped. Just a little. Not fully off, but enough. The village gasped. Everyone saw it. Silence fell hard. The punishment came immediately. The man screamed. Not later, not slowly. His voice broke the air. He fell to the ground. His body twisted. His wealth vanished in front of witnesses. Coins turned to dust. His fine clothes tore apart. Fear spread like fire. People ran. People hid. But the price was not only his. The power around her cracked. The warmth of the scarf burned her skin. Her house shook. Food spoiled. Coins rusted. Respect turned into terror. People pointed at her with shaking hands. She broke it, they whispered. She almost broke it. She ran home, holding the scarf tightly, crying out the sentence over and over. Never meet them without it. Never meet them without it. The village watched from doorways as prosperity turned into fear. Elders who once invited her now avoided her name. Children hid when she passed. The rule had shown its teeth. Publicly. Cruelly. The message was clear. Obedience brought power. Disobedience brought destruction. And now everyone knew. The scarf was no longer just a gift. It was a chain, and it was tightening. When fear settled, someone unexpected returned. A man from her past. Not a stranger, not a traveler. A man who had known her before the scarf, before the whispers, before the power. He had once sat beside her with empty hands. He had once spoken her name gently. He had once loved her quietly. He came with nothing. No gifts, no requests. He did not bow. He did not praise her power. He did not ask for favors. He said he had heard the stories and did not believe them. He said he only wanted to see if she was still the same woman who listened when no one else did. The village watched closely. They expected him to rise. They expected luck to follow him. But nothing happened. His life did not change. No money appeared. No doors opened. He stayed the same. Simple, calm, ordinary. And still he stayed near her. She wore the black scarf. She repeated the sentence inside herself. Never meet them without it. But for the first time, the rule felt heavy in a different way. This man gained nothing from her. He did not ask. He did not push. He only stayed. At night, he sat outside her house and talked about small things. About the weather. About old songs. About how lonely the village could be. He never touched the scarf. He never asked about it. He looked at her. Not through her. Her heart shook. This was the love she had wanted. Not loud. Not greedy. Not afraid. The power around her meant nothing to him. And that scared her more than any punishment, because now the choice was close, and it was real. The choice did not come with thunder. It came quietly, at dawn. The village was still asleep. She sat alone, the black scarf wrapped around her shoulders. Power rested on her like a weight. Fear slept beside it. The sentence echoed again and again. Never meet them without it. The man from her past waited outside. He had said he would leave if she asked. He had said he wanted no part of her power. He wanted only her. As she was, as she had always been. She stood. Her hands shook. The scarf felt tighter than ever. She remembered every gain it gave others, every humiliation, every night of obedience, every scream, every whisper. She remembered the old woman's calm eyes. Slowly, in full daylight, she removed the black scarf. Gasps rose from nearby houses. People peered through cracks. This time, she did not meet anyone. She only held the scarf away from her body. The rule broke itself in her hands. The punishment did not come. Not yet. The world held its breath. She walked to the man. She dropped the scarf onto the ground between them. Power drained from the air. Fear loosened its grip. She took his hand. It was warm. Real. Nothing changed for him. Nothing rose. Nothing fell. Behind them, the scarf darkened, cracked, turned to dust. Wind carried it away. The village watched as magic ended without fire or blood. She chose love. She chose a life without rules, without chains. And for the first time, she felt light. After that day, life became small again and peaceful. She moved from the edge of the village to a simple home near the fields. She woke early. She cooked. She laughed softly. The man stayed, not because of power, not because of fear, but because he chose her every day. The village adjusted slowly. Without magic, people stopped watching her steps. Without the scarf, men stopped seeking her door. Her name lost its sharpness. It became ordinary. Some still whispered. Most moved on. Life continued as life always does. She never became rich. She never became feared. She never became famous. But she was no longer empty. She was no longer used. Love filled the space magic once occupied. Sometimes elders told her story at night. They spoke of the black scarf, of the rule that could not bend, of power that feeds on obedience. They always ended the same way, with a warning passed like fire. They said magic that gives without love will always demand more than you can pay, and that the greatest strength is knowing when to walk away. And so the legend stayed, simple, clear, remembered.